Oh, hey guys. As 2020 is nearing its end, I thought it would be fun to go over my Spotify 2020 wrap, let you guys in on some of the music I listened to. Kind of a good year for listening to music to me. For a while, like most things in life, when you enjoy them over a period of time, they just become like a part of your habit, something you do. And I wasn't really listening to music in the same way that I had in the past. It was kind of just like a thing I would do. I wasn't listening really to anything new. I was kind of sticking to the same routine, the same stuff that I had always been listening to. And this year I kind of made an effort to try and listen to new music, and it was really good. I'm glad I did. I really like the way music can make you think about life. It helps you relate to other people because like a specific song might conjure up an emotion in you and you're like, holy shit, dude, this is like trending across the world. Like, so that means other people must feel the same way I do. And it's just nice to be able to relate to other people in a way that isn't just like your typical day-to-day face-to-face reaction, it's just through music, and that's cool. So number one, we've got Harry Styles. I'm really glad I started listening to Harry Styles. For the longest time, I was kind of a douche about him. I just thought he was like a rebranded Justin Bieber. Like all the girls obviously in school were always like, oh my God, One Direction's so good. And I kind of just fell into the same thing that like most of the other dudes did and was just like, oh wow, like whatever. Like he's just another Justin Bieber. Like he's in a boy band. It's not like he has any talent. Like you guys just like him because he's hot and he's like in One Direction, blah, blah, blah. I had a long laundry list of just stupid shit that was preventing me from listening to Harry Styles. And then I finally listened to him when his new album came out, and I was like, man, I've been wrong this whole time. This guy has absolute fucking bangers. He's got the voice, he's got the lyrics, the talent, the looks, the personality. He's actually also one of the nicest dudes I've I've like seen in my entire life. If you guys are fans of Harry Styles, I would recommend watching his Howard Stern interview. It was a really good interview, and it was nice to just see Harry Styles not performing. I really like being able to see artists in their human form. We really build up people that are in the entertainment industry. We fill our head with ideas of who we might think they are, and then when you actually get to know them through an interview or something like that, it's just kind of refreshing. I don't think Fine Line was nominated for any Grammys because I don't remember when he dropped it, but I think it missed the cutoff or something. I might be totally wrong here, but I think it is deserving of a Grammy. This is hands down, like honestly, no jokes here, probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It's absolutely fantastic. Fucking 10 out of 10 throughout the entirety of this album. You're getting a mix of different songs and like emotions. You have really nice upbeat songs that you can dance to, and then you also have music that you can cry to. And I feel like the way he put the album together, it kind of spreads those emotions out, I guess. It's not always just like sad, happy. He kind of plays with the placement of the songs, and I think he did a good job with that. And some of my favorites on here are probably, I really like Lights Up. Falling is good as well. That shit will make you cry, hands down. I usually just skip over that one because I actually cry. Sunflower, I haven't listened to that one in a long time, but that's another good one. Treat People with Kindness, not bad. Canyon Moon, that's another really good one. I feel like Canyon Moon doesn't get talked about that often. Maybe that's just me. I feel like the big hits off of this album are like Watermelon Sugar. I think Adore You was pretty popular for a while, but those songs are definitely great, but I think he has some better ones on there. So yeah, I would definitely, I don't even know I'm saying you should give Fine Line a listen if you haven't, because who the fuck hasn't listened to Fine Line at this point? But if you haven't, check it out. At number 2, we've got PewDiePie, and he's on the right side for top songs. Bitch Lasagna. You guys could roast me all you want for listening to PewDiePie, but I'm not gonna lie. The guy not only has a successful YouTube career, one of the most successful, fucking his music actually kind of slaps. I think it's highly underrated. I think most people just write it off because he's like known for PewDiePie, but enough with me fanboying out. Bitch Lasagna does not get enough credit as one of the finest roasts in human history. This guy looked India in the face and said, your language sounds like a mumble rap community. Who has ever roasted the entirety of a country in a song. Come on, that's an absolute roast. I mean, Eminem, Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar, bitch, sit down, be humble. Nothing compares to your language sounds like a mumble rap community. And then if you ever want to rail a line of coke and just get really upbeat and hype, I would recommend Hey Monica. It's good in that respect. I'm actually really shocked that the Rolling Stones and the Beatles are still in my top 5. I feel like I haven't listened to them that much, but then again, I guess you stick with what you know. They've definitely been one of my favorite bands since I've gotten into music. I just really enjoy what they did with it. They really changed the game, and I would say that they're very similar in a lot of respects, which is why they get compared a lot, like who's better, the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. I don't know if that's always the best comparison because they do have a lot of similarities, but at the same time, they are vastly different. I think the Beatles were really trying to do something in terms of music, like really change the way we listen and even think about music afterwards. I feel like the Beatles have a lot of more gripping lyrics. I think that they obviously got very psychedelic and spiritual when they started doing drugs, and that's also they've always been popular, but that's when a new generation started listening to their music. And I don't really know how to explain it, but the Beatles are just very whimsical and kind of philosophical to a degree with their music, whereas the Rolling Stones has those qualities. I just don't think that's what they're known for, whereas the Beatles, I feel like that is what they're known for, and the Rolling Stones are known for being one of like the greatest rock bands of all time. I kind of lean towards the Rolling Stones more often just because I feel like they have a larger array of music. I feel like the Beatles, you always kind of just, it's kind of like, it's relaxing music. I usually listen to the Beatles when I'm like in a calm state and I'm ready to just like sit down and relax, whereas the Rolling Stones has music that I can relax to and kind of think about, but more of their music is kind of like pumps you up. They got like headbangers, I guess. They go a lot harder than the Beatles do. There's like 2 songs that you could go hard to from the Beatles, which is Helter Skelter and Twist and Shout. And like Twist and Shout is not even like a banger. That's like some shit your grandma would do the twist to back in the day. But yeah, I feel like I gave those bands an introduction and a fucking long list of why I like them, but they really didn't need an introduction because they're the fucking Rolling Stones and the Beatles, but I really do recommend them. And I guess I'll list off some of my favorite albums by them. Why not? So the Beatles, Abbey Road was actually one of the first records I got on vinyl, and I'm a big fan of it. It was a pretty good last album. I don't think it was their best, but it was still really good. My favorite though, hands down, has probably got to be, my favorite for sure is Magical Mystery Tour and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. These 2 albums were clearly when they started dropping acid, taking mushrooms, and smoking weed, because these albums are very, very new. I don't think in that time period, no one had really made anything like that before. And even if they did, it didn't become as mainstream as the Beatles made that kind of music mainstream. Probably one of my favorite songs, just in general, is A Day in the Life. I feel like everyone knows that one. It's really good. So one of my top songs is by this band called Saint Motel. The song is called Sweet Talk. They're a band that I got into recently. They're pretty popular, if I remember correctly, so I'm sure some of you people have heard of them before. The funny thing is, when I first started listening to them, I was like, wow, these guys are really good. They have some nice upbeat songs. And then I started actually listening to the lyrics, and most of the time, the lyrics are very depressing. Not necessarily depressing, but the lyrics kind of have a negative connotation to them, where for the most part, the music is always upbeat. And it's just funny that they were able to mesh those 2 together. Catch myself bopping my head when I'm just like listening to one of their albums or something, and then I start listening to the lyrics and I'm like, oh, he's talking about like how a girl treats him like shit right now, and I'm just like, hell yeah, dude, this shit's fire, like fucking slaps. So obviously Sweet Talk, I really like that song. Cold Cold Man is good. This album, Saint Motelevision, is fairly good. I think it has another song. Oh wait, no, here it is. Voyeur. There's this song called Puzzle Pieces. I would highly recommend that. That's another good song. And again, that one, it sounds so upbeat. And then you listen to the lyrics and it's about a failing relationship. And it's just like, I think it's really cool how they were just able to mix together polar opposites. It works well. So yeah, check out Saint Motel. Another song that's in my top 5 is Master of None, which is by this band called Beach House. They're probably one of my favorite bands, actually. I don't want to say that because then everyone's going to be like, oh, so like name every fucking album. I'm not like the most hardcore fan. I've only listened to a few of their albums, but overall they make fantastic music. And sometimes I've seen kind of like on Twitter and in meme culture, this band being used as like the typical like, oh yeah, dude, you think you're edgy because you listen to this band or whatever. Or people would just be like cringe, I guess, because that's like the connotation they have towards them. That like, oh yeah, dude, they're like, they're an edgy band, bro. You know what I mean? Like how people are like, they're underground. They're actually really cool. They're doing a lot of new things. They have like, I don't know if I'm explaining myself properly, but sometimes I feel like this band just has like a negative connotation towards it because of like the fan base who listens to it for whatever fucking reason. And I just think that's ridiculous because they're better than that. They're a really good band. And I think it's dumb that like sometimes people meme about them. I also based that entire rant off of literally one tweet that I saw a while ago, and it just really irked me because I was like, hey man, don't roast them like that. They're really good, all right? They're in like my top 10 bands, okay? Like leave them alone. They have this solid album called, yeah, here it is, Depression Cherry. Space Song on that is good. Wildflower is also pretty solid. I haven't listened to this album in full bloom, but Myth is fantastic. I would recommend that one. Probably my favorite song that they've made is on their self-titled album, Master of None. That one I just really fuck with. I'm a big fan of it. Yeah, out of all the bands I've mentioned, I would probably recommend them the most. I just think they kind of are doing something new with music, and that's refreshing because I really like people. There are people who you can tell are doing it for the music, and then there's other people who kind of are just doing it for the money, and you can tell that this band is clearly doing it because they love music and they really want to use this art form to express themselves, and that's why I like them so much. Another band that I listen to pretty frequently this year is TV Girl. I listened to them a lot when I was younger, but I kind of got back into them. Some of their notable songs are Lovers Rock. I like that one very much. Birds Don't Sing. That's good. They're another band who a lot of the time, I feel like their lyrics can be a little depressing, but the beats always just kind of slap. And they do most of their songs, I forget what it's called, but they like content cop older music, or they take like a beat from a song and repurpose it. Do that pretty frequently. If you enjoyed this video, smash like. If you have any music you would like to recommend, drop a comment and hit subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, I will see you next time. Peace out.